What's up, people? It's Kyle Cheslock, VP of Sales over at The Lead Tool. We're going to do a little something different today. Welcome to In the Lead Off the Record. We usually do these on Wednesday, but we felt like this was pretty important as we were talking this week about some of our customers and the struggle they have with understanding pipeline selling. If you're in here, leave a note, hit us up on Facebook. We love hearing from you guys. Check us out at The Lead Tool.
And we do know our light is out.
We do know it. We do know it's out.
Our landlord's just not into it.
And I'm really not this short in person, so it's one of those online things.
I'm on stills.
Yeah,
so if you're joining
exactly.
us live, thank you for coming in. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, which is where this video will live, for our current and new customers who are coming on, it's a great introductory video into pipeline selling. So thank you. And
absolutely. We're going to be covering a lot of material today, so share it far and wide. Like I said, this is going to be pretty important for a lot of it's not really a foreign concept. It's pretty common in B2B organizations, but within the retail sector, typically the focus is on what's right in front of you now, and there's a lot of opportunity or low-hanging fruit, if you will, if you just know how to manage a pipeline. So this is what we're going to discuss a little bit today.
Yeah, and I think pipeline selling in general is kind of it's not that it's a foreign concept, it's just you don't think about it until you're having to do it. And I know I didn't think about it until it was introduced to me by my boss in the car business. Thanks, Greg. So anyway, something we hear a lot about, and within our system, we track the customer life cycle in terms of the customer status. So,
which is common.
Yeah, a lot of people call it stage. They'll call it life cycle stage, status, whatever you want to call it. So, I think the first thing we need to understand is to explain what this looks like for a customer. What's the customer journey? So that we can then illustrate the sales pipeline in relation to the customer journey. I think that's probably
a lot of times you'll see an illustration of a funnel, but we're going to kind of bring it out so you guys can see what it looks like.
We're going to stretch it out like a pipeline going from left to right. Think of like the start and the finish line. I'll draw up there. A lot of people use a funnel. A lot of people will use a circle. So it'd be kind of weird if I was trying to write it like that. So we'll do the starting line here. This is where we start, and your customers generally, they will all start as what's called a lead. So you hear a lot of people talking about lead management. If you've got a CRM system, you know that lead management is part of CRM. It's the very first stage, or what we would refer to as the new status. We've got a new lead. What does new mean? This is a question we get because we often recommend that our customers have a status called new. It does
and this is a little bit different. Like a lot of you think new means like it's just somebody that you just started working
today. It's and obviously if you looked up the word new in the dictionary, it would probably have 4 different definitions, right? Just like. So the new means that it's brand new to your sales pipeline.
You haven't had a conversation yet.
Haven't had a conversation, haven't qualified it, haven't decided if you're actually potentially going to get a deal or a sale out of it.
Came in off your website, so they called in,
could come
whatever
from,
it may be.
Could come from anywhere. This is a phone call, a web inquiry, someone walking into your showroom. So they will start as a lead. That's the very first part of it. Once you call them, you talk to them, you have kind of gotten an idea that this is a potential client, someone you can
prospect,
actually, a customer, that you can sell something to. They will move from it. I guess actually now that I think about it, this pipeline, we can actually show it on one because the customer journey literally will mirror your sales pipeline.
In the pipeline.
So they're starting out early on. Maybe this is where they've developed enough awareness of you. They want to come in, whatever. They're a lead. You get a hold of them. So at this point, you've made contact, you've qualified them or disqualified them. They
email, in-person conversation, phone call, any kind of contact, text message. They're moving down this pipeline.
Yeah, you're moving down the pipeline. So we're going another stage down or another block, however you want to look at it.
Stage, status.
So
now, and this can all be customized. Everybody's going to have a little different terminology in terms of these different buckets that they'll be in. So keep in mind this is going to be very generic in terms of how we move this along.
So at this point, you've decided that they are a qualified buyer. You know that you've got a chance, you've qualified them. You're moving from the lead management piece of customer relationship management, customer experience, into the sale management piece. For yards, this is where you are, maybe you've got a TM, an outside rep who's going on site, you're bringing new product samples. Maybe if you're, like us, we were in the imported business, we got some new mahogany in, we had a cut off of a piece that's a little too long, we can bring for one of our pattern customers or to one of our retailers that does high-end millwork.
If you're a flooring dealer, this is, you're checking out a sample.
You're measuring. For everyone, quoting falls into this piece, and then actually the transaction itself.
Yeah.
So everything.
So this is different. Again, I can't stress this enough. It's different than the actual lead management piece. Lead management is that very initial part when you're capturing that lead and getting it into your pipeline, if you will. When you start working it is when it gets into this sales management part.
Yep, and I'm just going to put a little note up here. This is pre-qualification. I want to make sure everybody, hopefully my writing's big enough. I don't know if we can get behind there and see. And then pre-qualification could be from anywhere. It's a walk-in, it's a web lead, it's the phone. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. Pre-qualification. So now we're moving into the sale management piece, and we were talking about, right, that's the quoting,
checking out samples,
on site, giving samples,
measurements,
all of that stuff. So that's your sale management piece, okay? So we're moving down the pipeline from lead to sale.
And think about it. These are things that you're already doing today. This is just going to be put into a little bit easier way to manage that process.
This is nothing more than a written context to what most everyone is doing today. It's just sales has really become a process. It's not about relationships. We were talking about the Challenger Sale the other day. Mm-hmm. Challenger Sale is an incredible book. It chronicles kind of the change.
If you haven't read it, go get it. It's like $15 on Amazon.
So basically, sales is not about, you call someone, you've got a great relationship with them. Hey, how are your kids doing? It's about providing insight and value. And it's a process. You have to follow a process to be able to do that. So we've got the sale management piece, right? So we've moved from lead to sale. First status, second status. We moved a little bit further down the pipeline. Now, let's say at this point, you're either going to lose the sale or you're going to win the sale. For the sake of this conversation,
we like to win here,
and we're gonna get back to in a minute what happens when you don't win.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in a second. So as we move from sale management, where you make the sale, now you are moving into the after sale management portion of your pipeline. So abbreviate here. So what goes on here? This is you delivering the material to the job site, or if you're shipping. We were talking the other day to one of our new customers. Ships everything via FedEx, and they want it, so you have a tracking feature. If it's on your truck, awesome. If it's not on your truck, probably more awesome. Run a fleet before, know what that's like. So anyway, you're delivering the material, you're doing your installation, you're completing a job, anything that goes on there, the final invoicing and all of that. And at this point, in like a CRM system, like in our CRM, in the lead tool, all this stuff is living inside the lead tool. In your CRM, if you're not
should be like this is taking that yellow legal pad, entering it into an online system where you can access it from your phone when you're out and about. If you're a TM, if you're in the store, accessing it from a location or any computer there or a tablet. If you got a tablet in there, but all of this is about creating an efficiency in your process where you already do some of this. It's taking the little minutia, the steps out to streamline what you're doing.
Yeah, so for those of you who are our customers and are watching this, or those of you who have a CRM, this is all living in your CRM. So let me put a few notes up here for everybody just so we've got it. This is your delivery. It is the install. It's basically job completion. So we'll just put that up there. So that is the after sale portion. Now we have a lot of pretty slick customers who will do things here too, in terms of, you know, at this point in their sales pipeline, they've got their salesperson writing a thank you note.
Yeah.
They're doing so.
Asking
That's all.
for referrals.
That's all part of after sale management, which is all part of customer
Yeah.
relationship management. So,
Transparency is one of the things too. One of the biggest complaints consumers have is after they buy from you here, everything just kind of disappears until it shows up on their doorstep.
yeah, so if you start thinking about this and kind of documenting it, it's a great way to kind of increase that. And again, you know, just this is core sales pipeline stuff. So far we've gone 3 stages down
Yep.
the pipeline. We've got the lead management, or where your customer's your lead. Then you've got the actual sale piece of it is the second piece. We've got after sale. So at this point, you've gotten somebody all the way down till you've dropped the material off at the job, you've completed everything, life is good, hopefully you've gotten paid, you don't have a 90-day late receivable.
Remember, these have
wholesalers
statuses,
and distributors,
stages.
any
Yep.
distributor or manufacturer, you know what that's like. Anyone who's doing B2B, if you're bankrolling, we're in distribution, that's a big part of it. And at this point, you're going to move into the final portion of your sale pipeline, which is remarketing. And this piece of it we will explain. So the easiest sale for you to make is to a customer you already have. And then we can also call this re-prospect, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about too here in a minute, because that's part of the rest of the discussion.
Yeah.
So
Lost deals.
remarketing. Every time you get someone, you've worked really hard to get all the way from here to here.
And you're moving them down the statuses
To
or
here.
stages.
Yeah,
Keep in
you're
mind.
going down your sales pipeline. Here we are. We started down here, coming all the way down. You worked really hard to get to here. It's way easier for you to make a sale to a customer that you already have than it is for you to go out and get someone here
Start over again.
and start over, right? Like if you've already got the relationship, what happens, and for particularly like a lot of yards who are doing B2B kind of work with the same builders,
Repeat business. Yeah.
you know how nice that is, because you can just cut the lead management part off, you're out. You start right here in the sale
Well,
process.
this also costs more money.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's
You know, like most dealers and most yards we talk to are spending anywhere from $250 to $1,000 a lead just to get them to this point.
right.
It is
So
much more affordable and cost conscious and just easier
to do this.
to do that.
So
And the more people you have in that bucket,
yeah, what is remarketing? Remarketing is basically it's awareness. So what you're doing here is when you get to this point, hopefully you're scheduling some follow-ups to catch up with these people that you've already sold to make sure that they're happy.
the material is right, it's installed right,
All of that stuff, whole 9 yards. And what you're going to do here is very similar. You're going to, even after that, you're going to want to check in periodically. So you want to drive awareness that you're still there, because hopefully this is not, you know, a one-time sale for you.
Staying in front of them.
So you want to stay in front of them. So if you've got someone who's buying windows from you and they're not buying doors, you want to kind of let them know, hey, we've also got doors too. So
Great time for that.
maybe you have an email newsletter. This is a great place to use like marketing automation tools.
Yeah.
And also just like regular selling. We did this
Yeah.
in the car business all the time. We do it here, which is going to take me to our next piece. But we always want to kind of stay in front of the customers we've always won, so we're top of mind, and that when they need something again, they think of us. So,
And keep in mind, a lot of these people either have additional projects that they're looking to do in the next 3, 6, 12 months, or are currently doing. May not know you sell that window or door, may not know 6 months down the line since you're not in front of them. A friend tells them about another company. All these things kind of come into play where if you can stay in front of them, you're going to be top of mind next time they go to redo that room.
So as a salesperson, if I'm using a CRM, which I should be, I'm scheduling follow-ups here to make sure that, you know, I touch everybody and reach out in addition to stuff like marketing automation, because automated emails only get you so far, and there has been a very large decline. And I need to try to find the link for the studies I've read. But that's why we actually got into using like personalized emails. It takes more time. The automation just doesn't get the response because everyone is doing marketing
personalization,
automated emails now.
It's people want to feel like you care about them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that comes back to, don't just rely on the fact that you've been in town for 30 or 35 years.
Well, no one
cares.
Have to keep working. No one cares about that anymore.
No. You have to keep working at it, especially the advent of home centers, increased competition. The fact that you've been in 35 years is great. There's a lot to love about that, but the times have changed to the point where people love, the personal touch, the personalization. They want to feel good now.
So this is where you do that. You send, thank you notes. You check in, say, hey, how are things going? How's your is your kitchen holding up? Anything like that. And then you also use, the other tools that you have out there to deliver. I read a great article the other day on content marketing, and it was about content first, marketing second, which is right, because you got to produce content that your customers are going to want. Like, we are doing this because we've been asked. We hope that this helps. So this remarketing phase is really key, because what you want to do is you want to take people from here and you want to bring them all the way back to the starting line, and you can skip this phase if you're doing that, but I just want to illustrate that this is kind of a start to finish, and then you want to go back in so that you can sell them again. Now, that brings me to my next point, reprospecting. Every single person that you get here is not going to make it all the way down this pipeline, obviously, right?
Life, right?
Right.
None of us have 100% close rate.
No one closes 90%. I don't care what they say. I don't care, it just doesn't happen. So,
excellent sales guys don't even close 50%.
No, and if at any point, anytime I see anything above like 50, I'm like, okay, that's like
not happening.
Yeah, it's not. You're missing a lot. You're missing part of this sales pipeline. You're only including like maybe what's like
the
here.
people that you actually captured.
Yeah. So if at any point you lose here or you lose someone here. Obviously, you're not going to lose them here, but you want to restart them. You want to put them back. No, you want to put them back at the top because they've already come to you. They've expressed interest in your products. And
timing may not have been right. A life moment may have happened that pushed the project off. Whatever it may be.
As long as it's not something like a 12-year-old once inquired on a Porsche 911 when I was selling them, like that. Obviously, you're not going to reprospect. Maybe in like 20 years, but not anytime soon. But when you lose to a competitor, when someone goes completely dark on you, you want to reprospect them. So you want to put them back in the front of your pipeline. You want to stay, again, it comes back to this, driving the awareness, making sure they know that you're there. Because it could have been a timing issue, it could have been a pricing issue, it could have been a product availability issue.
All kinds of reasons. Life happens.
Yeah, you never know. So we had a habit of kind of restarting everyone who dropped off after, I think we would reprospect probably every 30 or 60 days.
Yeah.
And we would dig up some sales out of it.
Yep.
So it's definitely...
You can never have enough sales.
Right. I mean, anyone who says that...
I don't know why you're in business.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of how we look at sale pipeline, and there are a couple things I want to touch on. You need to have visibility all the way into the pipeline. So other than
all the time in real time.
Other than getting asked, well, why is the status new? Well, because it's new, because you haven't done anything with it yet. That's why it's new. That's the definition of the word. It is brand new to you. You have not done anything with this. It has not been sitting in your system.
But once you've had contact, I can't make that more clear. Once you've had contact,
move them
it is no longer new.
Yeah, it's not new.
It has a status or a stage in your pipeline.
You move them down the pipeline.
Contacted, quoted, wherever they fall at in terms of how the conversation went.
And the other thing
is where you should be moving.
Is like, so when you, like in the lead tool for our customers, when you archive a lead, you archive a customer or anything like that, you don't want them to just drop off the face of the earth. The worst thing that could happen for you is if they just are like buried and the system just buried them, because you need to be touching those customers again.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the sold. You want to retouch your sold customers periodically. So that's part of your pipeline. Like, your pipeline doesn't end here.
No.
And it doesn't end here. It goes all the way through all of this, and then it restarts. So think about this in terms of like a cycle. Yeah. That's all it is.
It's constant work. That's another thing. Like, this is work. So you're constantly moving these people down the stage, down the pipeline. You're bringing them back up through here. You know, it's going to require a lot of work to do this, but at the end of the day, you know, that's why we're in sales. That's why we're doing this.
And that's why customer relationship management is so important, because ultimately what it is it's customer experience management. Yep. When you stay in front of people and you provide valuable content, when you provide valuable, it's not even about content, because content could be anything. It's about valuable insight where there's just value in general. They actually are going to appreciate that. Yeah. That's part of the customer experience itself. So keep in mind that your sales pipeline goes all the way from the first time you've ever spoken to anyone ever, past the sale, into the remarketing where you want to stay in front of them, and then hopefully you drop them right back into a point where, you know, hey, I've got another project. Or if you're, you know, a distributor, you've got retailers who are buying moldings from you maybe. You know, we used to run a ton of moldings in millwork. And they come back to you next time because you stayed in front of them. And I can't stress how important that personal touch is, coming from a business that was 130 years old, that had, I don't know, I mean, a ton of our retailers, or excuse me, a ton of our customers were retailers. I think in the downturn we lost like 60% of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and not just obviously our retailers, but that was a big portion of our business. And we know is not the lead tool, obviously, but the lumber company, it's a 130-year-old business. It didn't matter that we had been around. We had to stay in front. We had to always have the most value. So whether that was product or advice or inventory on hand, which we would tie very closely to our sales. We did a webinar on that. That's really where it's at. This is all about making it, number one, easy and repeatable. This is something that any sales staff can understand and can perform and execute on. It levels the playing field when this is mapped out for a business, because Kyle has the same playbook that I do, and all we have to do is run the same plays.
This makes the good times better. This makes the bad times
a lot better.
A hell of a lot better.
Yeah, that's very, very well put. So again, you know, big takeaway here is that the sales pipeline goes well after the sale so that you can get another sale. So that's why you always want to keep tabs after the sale, stay in touch, stay in front of them. So that's
pipeline selling, people. So hopefully you guys have some takeaways here. If you don't have this mapped out in your current process, get it mapped out. If you need help, we're more than willing to help. Give us a shout. Otherwise, watch this as many times as you can and deliver it to your people. Definitely thanks for hanging out with us today. Appreciate it. Check us out at The Lead Tool, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's Chase Shields. I'm Kyle Cheslock. And hopefully everybody's going to enjoy their Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, have a great weekend.